Everyone, I am wearing the dress I wear to Renaissance fairs. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's a museum replica dress. And I get to be Queen Maureen of this video. Yay! And we're talking about how to do the makeup from Rain. This is a beginner's class, so if you're new to makeup, this is a perfect class for you. Or if you're not that great with makeup, stay tuned. At the end of it, I'm going to have a headband montage and little videos links that I recommend that go along with this, like eyebrow video, line tightening video, etc. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for staying tuned. So the one thing I did to start out was I started out with my brows. So what I'm going to do is, most makeup artists, you've seen BB creams, you've seen CC creams, the whole 9 yards. Most makeup artists honestly mix them themselves. You take whatever foundation you like. I'm using Tarte. Just need a tiny, tiny drop. It's like half a pea. Whatever primer you want. I'm using that Laura Mercier one that I mentioned in the one review. It's just a tad bit too shiny for anything else. And I'm using Repair C Cream by Serious Skincare, and I'm just going to do a tiny glob of that. And what you do is you mix it together. If you're really seeing dark spots, take a vitamin C gel, take a pin to it and break it open and add it to it. If you're really breaking out hardcore, what you can do is take like an Advil liquid gel or the generic to that, pop it with a pin and add it to this too. Any type of facial oils that you like, you can add it as well. Do it, just any kind of base to it. If you have a moisturizing mask and your skin's very dry, add that to it too. If you're more on the oily side, do the primers that work for that, and you just want to kind of pile it on. And I always do my neck because it makes you photograph better, and also makes you look a little bit younger too. And I add it to my ears because I have this weird phobia about red ears. Take whatever's left, pick it up with my brush, and stipple it on. Stippling, just kind of patting it in. If you rub it in with your fingers, the oil and the heat from your hand will pick it up and will make it thinner. This will just kind of evenly deposit the color. And I do my base before doing my concealer, so that way it doesn't look cakey. So as you can see, there are things that can be covered with just the base. And if you need a little bit more coverage, you can add a tiny drop more foundation to it. And you can kind of mess around with the formula too. You'll find that your foundation will last a lot longer this way. And you can always go back in your fingers too and kind of pat it and blend it. Princess Diana's makeup artist, I remember reading, used to put her foundation on with the heat of her hands and do it that way. She didn't use a brush or a sponge. I'm not a fan of using a sponge unless I use them to blend, because I think they pick up too much product in a shot. Now I'm taking a little bit of concealer. This is by It Cosmetics. See, you want about the size of a sesame seed cut in half. You want to kind of tilt your head downward and aim it to where you're the darkest. I also put it around that area, because as we go through life, this area ends up with a little bit of shadowing. This area ends up sometimes a little bit veiny. And if you're pale, this area ends up a little bit dark, to say the least. Now, if you're going to do an eyeshadow primer, I would do the eyeshadow primer as your very first step before the foundation too. And you can also, if you like your tinted moisturizer, you can use your tinted moisturizer too and mix different things into it. It's up to you. I have a makeup artist friend that mixes argan oil into her makeup. I personally find, I love Josie Maran, don't get me wrong, but the plain argan oil is a little bit too expensive to mix it in constantly. Just kind of bring that over. The It Cosmetics, their concealer, they recommend patting it in as a way of setting it. That's a great concealer too. So our next step is blush. I'm gonna pop that on the apple. And this is our lighter color. Style and pop it on your apple. You take your darker color, make your fishy face, go underneath, and just blend. Now, if you ever end up with too much, you can kind of pat it with a tissue, or just put a little bit of foundation or tinted moisturizer on top, and it will give it the look like you're blushing from within. Also, make sure to kind of blend it, so if you have concealer, it's not an obvious line as to where it went. Blend it around. Now definitely focus your blending on around your target. The heat from your hands will help it blend. And that's alright. And next, we're going to do our eyes. So just want to curl it, kind of clasp it, and bend it upward. Now, I always curl my eyelashes before putting mascara on. There's a couple rules of, I guess, thought on that one. Some people curl them afterwards too. I view it this way. Your eyelash curler is your curling iron, and your mascara is your hairspray. Now I read somewhere that if you put lavender oil and tea tree oil, and I always kind of get rid of the stuff on the top of it, into your mascara, it will make your lashes grow. So that might be my next thing. I have lashes, but my God, they are blonde. It's always like, whenever I put on mascara, there they are. See, I told you they were real. Just kind of want to work it into the root, bring it out. Can kind of move them inward too. And that's our first coat. We're going to give it a couple seconds. Now, you can go all the way down with your bottom lashes, or you can just kind of do what I do, and that's stamp them. So it looks like there's something there, but it's not. When you paint them all the way down, it sometimes closes up the eye. You start the other set. And this is the Lights Camera Lashes Mascara by Tarte. And I like this one because you don't have to use an eyelash primer to really get the most out of it. And you can just kind of put your one like this and build them outward too. Of course, it helps if you can see in the light. And hopefully you're not like me and watching that does not make your eyes tear up. It always does with me, which is funny though, because I can put mascara on other people and not blink. Not think anything of it. We're going to start with our lightest color. That's going to be our base. It's like a bone color. I'm going to take that all the way up to the brow bone and bring it back down. It's no longer trendy to have that really blatant brow bone color. Just kind of do a lighter color. Kind of blend it as you go. Our next color is going to be our pinky kind of color. It's going to go on our lid and up to our crease. Lid to our crease. And last but not least is our kind of gray color. Now, in the picture, she does not look like she has obvious eyeliner on. And one of the techniques that I used to learn how to put on eyeliner was I took something like a brush, which I was comfortable with, and tried with it first. To make the most of your eye, make your eye look larger, you want to make your upper lash line darker than your lower one. That's why in old movies they usually have like the upper lash line lined and the lower one's just kind of blank. Now if you want it to look more like a smoky eye from like the 1920s, you would do a lighter color along the lower lash line and just kind of blend it. So they used to use their eyeshadow along their lash line, and they would go in and use their cake eyeliner on their upper eyelid. I always do like a little bit of a cat eye, just kind of widen it out. That's a personal preference. You don't have to wing it out like I just did. You can always look back in too. And you can also do line tightening too, which is where you fill in the spaces with a pencil or with a waterproof gel liner too, to kind of give it a natural line. And I'll leave a link for that on the bottom of the page. Sorry, the end of the video, the bottom of the page. I'm going to take my blending brush and go over that so it looks more like my lash line. It's not very obvious makeup. You can still see the line, but see how it now becomes part of the eyelashes? And that is that makeup. Now, if you want to make it look more like the picture, you can go back in with your crease color and just go back and darken the crease slightly. Same color we used before. I always work my brush two ways, this way and that way. So it covers more ground when you do your windshield wiper look too. Now her, I'm going to take a little bit of a gray eyeshadow and go over the black to kind of smudge the look a little bit more. I'm using my hands like a barbarian to kind of make it look a little bit closer to the photograph. And that is our eye makeup. Of course, last but not least, our lips. So I'm going to take our lip pencil and we're just going to make an X. See? Look how simple that is. Bring that down. Now you can lay your lip pencil over top of a lip primer or an eyeshadow primer. To you just want to fill it in so you never end up with that god-awful line. I know. And a multitude of videos talking about how horrible I think that is. By doing this, it will prevent bleeding too. Kind of pat and go, pat and go. This is an invisible pencil. You can just go around the outer perimeter. See how that kind of adds a little bit of definition without it being obvious. Now you can put lip gloss on top of this, you can put lip balm on top of it. I'm going to do a little bit of lipstick. And doing it with the brush opposed to the tube so as to give you a more even tone, and you don't use as much lipstick too. But it's a personal preference. There's some of them that are so pigmented that I'll just grab them from the tube and just kind of pat the tube on my lip. I don't feel like I need as much. I always swing it. So much. And we're going to finish off with a little bit of highlighter. Go. Inner corner. Inner corner. And make your nose look smaller. Kind of make a little X there. You got your Cupid bow. Hit those cheekbones. Go up and over. It's kind of like a little C. And there we go. Just kind of blend it with our brush, or you can be a barbarian like I do and blend it with your fingers. Make sure